Namaskar, welcome to the True Hunt and today's maritime stories on maritime skill development for future seafarers. To discuss, we have got a man who has served as a Vice President of the Shipping Corporation of India Limited. Currently, he is a Director, Seven Islands Maritime Training Foundation, Director, Mission Seafarers Indian Association, Director, Nautical Institute India West Branch. Apart from that, he is also Senior Vice President of Seven Islands Shipping Limited. His name is Captain Philip Mathews. Apart from that, we have got the man who hits hard, Captain Gajanan Karanjikar. 17 years of sailing experience, who has joined us again from Dubai. And my first question to you, of course, is regarding the maritime skill development for future seafarers. So, sir, as it has been seen through reports that Indian government has been working on equipping the seafarers with future skills, standardization, and equivalence of skills and policy support. So to start with, I'll go with Captain Philip Mathews. Sir, how do you see this?
Good evening, Mr. Gaurav, and it's a pleasure to be with you again after a couple of months. Well, India, as you know, is the powerhouse of the maritime workforce. The Indians today, we are about 9 to 10%, and the Vision 2030 is to reach 20%. Well, as you are well aware, the merchant shipping or globally in every field, technology is going so fast that there is a sea of change happening all over the place. What used to be called a decade 10 years ago or a generation change 10 years ago, today happens every couple of years. You have to, the skill sets required from the people or the seafarers specifically are different, and it has to be other than continuous education, continuous upgradation of skills. There is no other alternative. I must say the Indian maritime colleges have picked up the cue from these changing fast rapid technologies and are adapting themselves for the future. The future is like you are going into marine automated surface systems. We are going into fast changing technologies in them like electronic engines, your different types of fuels. We are in a disruptive era. In my days, people had to run engines with just maybe fuel oil and diesel oil. But today, there are various types of ships with various different fuels. For all this, our industry, with the help of the government of India, especially the government is giving full support to the maritime industry for skill development, and they are giving initiatives. The Director General of Shipping is facilitating the changes which are happening also with collaborative studies with foreign universities, specifically for our seafarers to improve their skills. Because if the survival of the seafarers depends on how fast they can upgrade their skills. So that is how it is.
Sir, I would like to bring in Captain Gajanan Karanjikar. Sir, same question to you.
Hi, Gaurav. Thank you very much. Again, good afternoon, and thank you very much for doing this Maritime Week thing. And I really appreciate your zeal towards studying maritime thing and asking questions to the experts like Captain Philip Mathews. So, yes, to answer your question, definitely. See, maritime jobs are very highly skilled jobs. So they are not lesser skilled jobs. So that's why they are all called as professional. They all receive professional training. See what is happening in the world today. Three things are happening, like Captain Philip Mathews rightly said. One is the energy transition. Second is digitalization. And third thing is the invasion of AI and machine learning and all these tools. Now, all these three count, shipping industry is not spared. They're also going through a major transition. Energy transition we talk about is all about fuel. He just spoke about the fuels. So earlier seafarer probably only had to handle ship operation, ship handling, all those kind of machinery operations, all those jobs. Now with these kind of energy transition, invasion of AI and also with the digitalization, seafarers will need to handle a lot of other equipments, lot of new equipment, new technology. So the seafarers had to be upgraded. And rightly so, International Maritime Organization is also pushing this across to all countries, giving them this thing, all kind of support. Whereas Indian government being a major supplier of manpower to the world on merchant navy, so the Indian government also has taken a lot of steps in improving their skill development. A lot of colleges are there. We have about 148 maritime institutes in India today. So all those maritime institutes have been asked to gear up and see identify the future skill. And we are also looking at increasing our seafarers share from some 13, 14% or 20%. So in that case, so definitely, I mean, we will need to upgrade our seafarers to the future skills of maritime.
Sir, I would like to bring in Captain Philip Mathews. Sir, recently I was reading a report which says that guided by NEP, National Education Policy 2020, which has been talked all over, and which also talks about that we are committed to skills, reskill, and upskill of seafarers and make them future and industry ready, which has been said by the Honorable Union Minister Shri Dharmendra Pradhan. Sir, could you comment on this? How NEP would bring a big change in this skill development of seafarers?
See, the thing is, as I had already mentioned, all our professions across boundaries are undergoing a sea of change. The NEP will definitely, it has got, they have taken they have done studies strategically to see how fast these technological changes can be incorporated. Like I should tell you, I had a career of 20 years at sea. My learning hardly changed over a period of 20 years. I used to do basically the same things, just that a satellite navigator or a GPS system came into being. Today, it is not like that. It has metamorphosized in such a way that everything is changing. Like just now, my friend Captain Gajanan mentioned about today predictive analysis tools are there, digital twinning is there, and you can do predictive analysis of anything going into the future. You can do a study. So all these things are happening, like as you rightly mentioned, digitalization, automation, and the artificial intelligence, virtual reality tools, all this is coming. And then these things are being incorporated into the syllabus of the students, and then it is structured. Like now the IMO is going into the complete amendment of the standards of training, certification, and watchkeeping, and the Indian government, the global Met, and the industry is together hands-on on this to bring in amendments to the STCW convention, with India presenting papers to change the syllabus and make it adapted to the present requirements. At the same time, what has happened is in the last few years, the Indian Maritime University has which has the headquarters at Chennai and headed by our own ex-DG, Mr. Dr. Malini Shankar, they have taken various initiatives. Like they have a chair for policy research, they have a committee with the top of the maritime technologists in this country for center of for policy research, and to bring in so many things, and they are involving the whole industry in it, which is an excellent. So the national education policy, when it is incorporated into the university structure, it gives them a higher level of entry into the various other avenues which these seafarers have. The seafaring is not just limited to becoming a captain. Today, the avenues are wide open. I know of a master mariner today who is heading the Navi Mumbai airport, Captain Sharma. I know another master mariner who has been educated in this field but headed the railway, the department of the government of India. So this is how we are progressing.
Sir, I'd like to bring in Captain Gajanan Karanjikar. Sir, same question but with a different tadka. As our Honorable Prime Minister dream is to collaborate and create a better working environment, as well as to promote welfare, rights, and recognition of seafarers. Recently, his visit in Sindhudurg also, the address by him talks about the recruitment of seafarers and, of course, the welfare of seafarers. So how do you see this?
A very good question this is, because, as you see from 2019 onwards, Prime Minister's offices and the central government, the look towards merchant maritime sector is changing. Initial 5 years, they had to do prioritizing of a lot of other issues, but now they are particularly looking into it. And Prime Minister, for that matter, he has not only once, twice, but at least 8 times he has mentioned in various speeches about maritime, sector and maritime education, and how the maritime sector can be improved. He has been to the programs himself. Even the Global Maritime India Summit, he was supposed to be himself there. He could not come, but he was there virtually and inaugurated it. So making sure that the maritime sector is given due importance is a big boost for a seafarer today. Today, seafarer in India is no more neglected. The organizations like CMI, organizations like IMEI, they also support the seafarers' cause very much. Recently there was the issue of surely not being granted an Indian port. All the organizations came together and they fought for the rights of seafarers. So Seafarers Welfare, Captain Philip Mathews works for Mission to Seafarers. That primarily organization is for the welfare of seafarers. So in this context, the absolute importance is given to the seafarers welfare because we understand that they bring the dollars home. And also, earlier question of your on NEP. Sadly, NEP doesn't, address the merchant navy or professional education, but there are various other vocational trainings and technical training what the NEP promotes. This can be taken as one of the vocational training at early age. So people also become, aware about maritime field, maritime education, and maritime as a career. That's very important. Thank
Sir,
you.
I would like to bring in Captain Philip Mathews. Sir, as I was going through a report which talks about, I would like to read it for you, which talk in recent years, it is connected to seafarers. I would like to make it clear. In recent years, most of the cost linked with the training are borne by the seafarers and their families. So, of course, when we are talking about the skill development programs and the new trainings with the emerging new fuels in the shipping industry, so what kind of training programs should be there so that the kind of fee should be borne by the government or any sort of scholarship or subsidies should be provided? Can you throw a light on this, please?
Well, yes, it's a very pertinent and nice question. See, now, as my friend Captain Gajanan mentioned, we have to promote seafaring. Seafaring is something which the government has to promote because, first, there is plenty of job opportunities for Indians. We are a labor promoting country. We have a lot of people, which is our main strength. If you see, 50% of our population is less than the age of 30. So, if we are a superpower today, it is because people are today our strength. People are not a burden for. Yes, the fees for the pre-sea training courses are very high. It goes to about 6 to 7 to 8 lakhs. Well, there are once upon a time it was that only the government sector was into maritime education. Today, even because government was by itself limited to do this by itself, it has gone into the private sector, and private sector obviously cannot bear the complete cost. Government used to give subsidies, whereas the private sector, yes, if we think of this as some sort of an infrastructure or a project sort of, and subsidies are given, it is very good. But otherwise, yes, it is a bit expensive at the joining level, but then it should be facilitated by bank loans, which government should provide. By if we can provide good bank loans, because this career, once you go through the PC, it is a very high paying career also. You need, the students need to be sincere. There should be no problem in repaying the loans, and that is the methodology adopted by most good colleges and schools. Today, if you are from a good training institute, to get a job or to get a placement is not difficult. So there should not be a problem about the fee, provided the government facilitates. Even this 4 lakhs which the government gives without collateral, it is not very easy to get into the merchant navy career. But if we can see that it is freely given, it will help in a big way. Secondly, all these various courses going at the higher level, I would say that most of these good companies bear that cost for the higher training, because as technology is changing and we need manpower for our ships, experienced and proficient in that type of things, most of the good companies bear that cost.
Sir, I would like to bring in Captain Gajanan Karanjikar. Sir, again, I was going through a report which also talks about that now with the changing times, whereas the roles like electrical technician and administrative officers that did not exist earlier in the past, but currently prevail in the industry. So this kind of skill development programs are also needed. So can you throw a light that how the shipping world is changing now?
Yeah, absolutely. So the equipments, as I said earlier, the three things which are changing the entire world. Shipping is also not spared. So electronic equipments are changing on board. Today, earlier, there was hardly any electronic, I used to call it automatic, not automatic. Now everything is automatic. When automatic is there, you have printed circuit boards, you have printed circuit, logical circuits, PLCs. So all these require, and of course, when the ship sails out of the port, then only ship's officers can repair if something goes wrong. Being machinery, being equipment, something will definitely go wrong. So the capability of the officers and capacity of their skill has to be increased to handle this kind of emergencies on board. Because there is nobody can fly down by a chopper or a plane to the ship which is 1,000 miles in the sea and repair the ship. So those skill developments are very important. Rightly so, since the electronic, the culture is increasing on board, there is an electrotechnical officer which was not the rank earlier, but it has come now. If you see, on passenger vessels, it was already there earlier because a lot of automation takes place. All lifts are there, a lot of printed circuit boards, and the logical circuitry is there. So in machinery also is coming up now. Equipment is also changing, becoming more efficient. So they require more of a, the monitoring has increased from the shore, also from the shore perspective, in the management perspective, as well as the port security perspective. And a lot of colleges are involved in training these guys hands-on. They have the equipment. The training regime in merchant navy is very good because nobody just becomes a master suddenly. Similarly, for electrical officers, this is also happening that they are joining as a trainee first, trainee electrical officer, and they're learning. Our seafarers are hired by foreign companies. That should be the aim. And for that, if it is education, if it is a training, skill development, whatever needs to be done has to be done.
Sir, as you mentioned, whatever needs to be done has to be done. So my last question, of course, it is to both of you, but I'll start with Captain Philip Mathews. Sir, what is a dream syllabus for the skill development programs from your perspective?
To tell you very honestly, change is the only constant. We have to keep focused on the changes happening globally. We have to be the most competitive nation. Today we are world leaders. We cannot be followers. We have to anticipate the changes. We have to work towards it and make sure that this is available to our seafarers. Gajanan ji rightly said, no looking back anywhere. Look forward and look miles ahead. That is the only way we can have a dream syllabus.
Captain Gajanan, your quick words on the dream syllabus.
See, absolutely what he rightly said. He spoke my words almost. So nothing much to add in that because he's already spoken about the advancement which is happening and being watchful as to what is happening in technology in the world. And then taking that up in a skill development. It could be electronic. I mean, you look at the aviation industry. You should take cues from the other industries, what other industries are doing. Aviation industry has changed in the pilot training syllabuses, so much in the last 10 years. Now, because the demand is there, I mean, that high impact kind of, the accident can take place in the aeroplane. The shipping is low impact accidents, so it will take some time for this to percolate. But as the various gems are coming in, human factor studies are now going on in maritime world very much, like aviation came 20 years back. So there is going to be a little delay in transition to the merchant navy, but of course, absolutely, taking technology heads on is the only way. We really cannot afford to have a primitive syllabuses, and whatever is going to happen, anticipate, preempt it, and train our cadre to take on the world.
Thank you so much, both of you.